Look up and smile. There is a familiar face. There's two familiar faces, actually. Joe Tiller in the middle, Brian Newbert on the right. Neither of them need introductions. Do you need an introduction?
Probably, because I live in a foreign country today. Or at least many people think I do.
Yeah, I know.
Really don't.
I know, but Wyoming is it's in the United States.
Yeah, it's in the snowy part of the United States, since we got about 4 inches of snow last night.
Oh, is that right?
We're probably leading the nation in snow so far.
All right. Well, Coach, we're privileged to have you here, and of course, Joe is here for the Hall of Fame induction, the Purdue Athletics Hall of Fame, and Willie Merriweather will be joining us in the third segment too, another Purdue Hall of Fame inductee. And what the heck does that mean? I mean, I know all coaches say it just means I'm old and I was around here for a long time. But what else? What does it really mean to you to have this opportunity?
I think Hall of Fames are, the same the world over with regards to athletic departments, in the sense that it really represents the best that institution hosted in one role or another. So when you think about it that way and you think you're included in that, then it makes it a special event. It's always about great people, and Purdue has no shortage of those. So this is a fun time for us, and something we intend on enjoying.
Yeah. You get the speech already? Or Nate's going to ask you questions, I think.
No, I don't have a speech ready, but...
You're going to come up with one.
I'll have to come up with one by 3. I guess I'm talking to the team, so something will come out of here. I'm not quite sure what it is.
When you accomplish something during a season or during a career, a lot of times people say you don't quite grasp its significance at the time because you're so wrapped up in what you're doing then. Now that you've been out a couple of years, have you kind of grasped, just how much success you guys had and what that means to you?
Not really, and I do agree with you, because I've said that myself. I said when when I was coaching that there'll be a time when we'll look back and say, hey, that was a special time. That was a great time. I haven't thought much about it because I haven't been removed from it for that long, although it's hard to believe, the years are flying by. But, I think a little bit more about it now, Brian, because people remind me more about it. So, and that's important to me, because of all the things I miss, it's my memory that I miss the most. So to be able to have someone bring up something, hey, I was there when this happened, and I'm thinking, wow, that was pretty neat, So me personally, by myself, I don't think much about it, but when other people remind me of it, then I get thinking, those were some special times.
You look back and you've obviously been around, as they would say in baseball terms, you've modeled a few uniforms, but you've been in a few different places in your coaching career. You've been in transitions. You've had to take over new teams, new programs. Purdue is struggling a little bit on the front end here, but talk about how difficult that is. I mean, you obviously came in, and everybody in '97, you made it look easy. It wasn't easy to be able to do that. Talk a little bit about what Darrell Hazel may be feeling in a program that's trying to get back to where you got it.
Well, I think number one, I think Coach Jim Coletto, left us some good players.
Yeah.
We didn't recruit Roosevelt Colvin, and yet he's probably as good a defensive end as ever played here. Matt Light was, already here. Edwin Watson. So there were a number of good players here, and that always helps.
Yeah.
We were fortunate in the sense that we got to move them around and put most of them in different positions. And things kind of fell in place for us, so we got lucky that way. But, we were fortunate, Alan, because I've said this many times. We were on a 2-year honeymoon. Mm-hmm. The Big Ten really hadn't caught up with our style of play at that time. And so many times we were attacking people, I say that offensively, we were attacking their defense on Saturday, and they didn't know how to defend us. And, Alan Karpick could have won a lot of games here at that time. So,
What happened to my paycheck?
Same as happened to mine.
I knew that was coming.
I
too
look at what
easy.
coaches are making today, and I say, I'm 10 years too old.
Oh,
darn,
no,
you
that's
know?
amazing.
Anyway.
Yeah, and yet in that '97 season, you had some great things happen. But you talk about your memory, but no Purdue fan from this point back to 1997 can ever forget that year. You've called it Christmas every week. What are your enduring thoughts of that season in terms of just how special that was?
Well, it was fun,
Yeah.
and coaching. People may find this hard to believe, but there ain't much fun in coaching, and that's one of the things that got me out of the game is it stopped being fun. We just had a ball in '97 and '98. In '96 too, our last year at Wyoming,
Yes, you had a great year.
we won 10 games, and and we had a stretch there, and we had the same coaches, so we had all been together for a while. That was always fun. You get really to know the families well, et cetera, and that always makes the job easier and better. And my wife's the one that put that moniker on
Yeah.
there, about every week was Christmas, because it really was, it was you win a game and then everybody, celebrates that, and then you get ready to play the next game and you're not quite sure what's going to happen, but you win that game and it's like, oh, look at this package we get to unwrap, So anyway, the players responded very well, so really the credit goes to the players, number one, and to the assistant coaches. Those are the guys in the trenches that do all the work.
What's the one moment from 1997 where you kind of look back on it now and say, damn, that was pretty awesome?
Well, that Michigan State game was unbelievable, really. But when I think about the entire season, I think the thing that's has stuck with me, and I've tried to share this with other coaches. We had John Reeves as a quarterback. A minority, a black guy out of Florida that was very popular with his teammates. Had that, didn't he have spinal meningitis?
Yeah,
right.
He almost died here at Purdue and did such a great job of sticking with it. John was a prop guy. For those people that don't know what a prop means, it means, that was the old Proposition 48, which doesn't exist anymore, but you lost a year's eligibility. However, they'd give you that year back if you could graduate in 4 years. Now that's typical NCAA common sense.
Yeah.
You are a disadvantaged student coming in. You're behind, from the start. You need all kinds of extra help. The normal college student graduates in about 5.5 years, and they tell you if you can graduate in 4, we'll give you a year back. That's wonderful common sense by the NCAA. But what really I thought was really special about that year is, and I don't mean to continue to ramble on here, but I'm going to anyway.
It's the internet.
It's the internet, my favorite thing. But we went to Chicago at the
Yeah.
kickoff lunch, and you remember, and when all of the 11 coaches in the Big Ten were there, they ask you to bring your quarterback, preferably. And we came out of the spring with John Reeves as our starting quarterback. And like I said, John was very popular with his teammates and popular with me. I mean, I really, really liked John. And anyway, they give each quarterback a ball, and then they tell everybody, look under your chair, and if you have a certain number, then the quarterback passes the ball to you. And of course, all 11 coaches have signed the ball, so it's quite a keepsake. And they called John's number, and a guy way back in the left corner of this large ballroom, there's 1,800 people there. He has to throw the guy a pass. Well, if he throws it hard enough to get it there, he's probably going to knock the guy through the wall. So he wanted to put a little bit of loft on it. So he puts a little loft on it, he hits the ceiling and bounces down, hits some woman in the head or something. Anyway, we drive back to Lafayette. I said, that was not a real impressive throw, John. You never know, it might cost you your job, you know. And we get back here, we go through training camp, and we come out of training camp, and Billy Dickens is starting quarterback. And John is on the bench. John Reeves was very supportive of this coaching staff, and for that I am forever grateful, because he had a lot of players that thought he should be the starting quarterback. But in our minds as a coaching staff, Billy should be the starter. Billy went on and was a Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. We subsequently asked John to move to linebacker. He did that willingly. And then went on and played some with the San Diego Chargers. But, you know, that made for a special year as far as I was concerned as a coach, because I know that we could have had some problems and some issues, and we wouldn't have gotten off to a great start if all the players on this football team had not bought into what we were telling them at the time. So, you know, really my memories are more about players than they are about games.
Yeah. And you had some characters throughout the years, and some
I don't remember any of them.
Colorful ones. So we're not going to mention some of the ones we knew you didn't like as well. But you loved them all.
I did. Well, mostly.
Vinny,
But you did
Vinny,
all
yeah.
the time.
Oh God. You know. And by the way,
I wasn't going to mention that, but go ahead.
Billy Dickens. You know, I didn't have a. For guys that were over 21, you know, I thought, you know, I was in college. You know, I don't think I'm an idiot. So I didn't have a no drinking rule after the game.
Yeah.
For guys that were of legal age. I didn't want underage guys out there, but I thought, you know, what the hell? Heck.
It's the internet.
I was in college at one time. You know, why be stupid and say, you know, nobody can have anything for medicinal purposes after they just had a very physical outing. So I never had a rule against a guy that was 21 or older. And, you know, we always used to joke because we practiced Sundays and took Mondays off. But on Sundays, nobody could get in a huddle with Billy Dickens. Anyway, all he did was go on and be the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. So anyway, we used to have a bet as a coaching staff. You guys will remember this. Mm-hmm. At what point in the game was Billy going to one-hop the bubble screen pass to Vinny? You know, sometime during the game, he was going to go out there and throw a dirt ball. And so we used to put it, you know, our names in a hat, and you could pull it out, and then you would name what time Billy was going to one-hop the ball on a bubble screen, and invariably we had a winner, you know, for 12 weeks. So anyway, you know, it was a great first year, and you're right. Vinny joined us at that time. You know, Vinny was really good when he first got here at catching it, just about everything. And then against Notre Dame, when we played Notre Dame, the second or third game that year?
Yeah. Second.
Second game.
After Toledo.
So it didn't last long. You're right. Toledo, I don't remember that game, but that Notre Dame game, Vinny ran a crossing route, and one of those safeties from Notre Dame hit him. It'd be an illegal hit today, but he really lit him up, and you know, Vinny caught the ball in stride and kept running across the middle. From that point on, Vinny never caught a crossing route when his feet were on the ground. He'd always jump to catch the pass, even if he didn't have to jump. He might jump and catch the ball at his knees, just in case somebody was going to hit him. He didn't want to have his feet on the ground because it hurt a lot more when your feet were on the ground. So, you know, Vinny was quite a character. Has turned into being a good man.
Yeah.
I think, you know, he's very respectful. I talk to him occasionally. You know, I talk to a lot of players occasionally. I don't talk to anybody regularly, but I talk to a lot of guys occasionally. And he sounds like he's growing up. I've got to see it to believe it. But it sounds like he's growing up, and I think he has, to his credit.
Yeah.
I thought you said you didn't remember anything.
I don't
There's a
hardly
whole lot of
remember
information right
anything.
there.
Yeah,
That's
that was.
extremely
I
good
rambled
memory.
on for too long. Are
Well,
you
we
guys
need-
done with me?
No, well, you got three. We got 3 minutes left. Willie's in the bullpen here. He's waiting. But all right, number 15. You remember that quarterback you had? That number 15, Drew Brees.
Vaguely,
He was
yes.
very good.
Yeah.
He still is.
He's
Still really good. But talk about his impact and what that was like for you. Now, again, with the benefit of time, he's been gone from the university for 13 years, and it still is a very fond memory for a lot of Purdue fans. But what was it like, and what's your relationship now with Drew? Besides having him call you every week and ask you what to do.
No, he doesn't do that. And I don't call players that are active
Yeah.
during the season. I've talked to Drew on the phone a number of times, but it's always out of season. And when they went to the Super Bowl, no, I did not call him and ask him for tickets. I said to my wife, Arnett, I said, could you imagine how many people, how many high school teammates and how many people, are going to ask this guy for tickets? I'm just not going to do that. So anyway, but I think Gary Danielson. One time I heard Gary talking about Purdue football, and he mentioned the fact that every now and then you just truly have to have a great talent come by, and that great talent can do great things for your program. And Drew Brees truly was that individual for us. One of the things that upset me, not about Drew, but the way Drew was treated, was the fact that he went in the second round.
Yeah.
Also that year we went to New York because it was the second year in a row that he had been nominated for the Heisman, and the other guys that were there, the other three finalists were LaDainian Tomlinson, who of course was a great player, but is no longer playing. Josh Heupel out of Oklahoma was second in the voting, and
Winky.
Chris Winkie from Florida State, he won the Heisman that year at age 28.
That's about right.
And of course, he played 2 years in the league, and then he got flushed out of the league. And and there was sitting Drew, and I just felt like in college, certainly in Purdue, this is not true, but from a national perspective, he never got his due. He was a better player than he was given credit for, and to his credit, he's gone on and proven it, and he's never said it, so I'll say it for him. But I never thought that he was treated with the kind of respect that he should have been based on the talent that he was. He was truly a difference maker. Without him, I think we'd have had a pretty good program, but certainly he elevated the program and put us in the national spotlight. And, very few people can do that. So Drew obviously was a great talent. He's married to a lovely Purdue gal, Brittany, and they keep producing these boys, and she might be pregnant again. I don't know, Drew, if she is. Britt, forgive me.
Can we put that on Twitter?
I doubt they're watching.
Probably not. You guys got to figure out what's causing this, though. But anyway, just a lovely family, and I get asked out in Wyoming a lot. Is Drew Brees as nice a guy as he appears to be? And the answer is yes. He's probably even better. Here's a fascinating thing about Drew Brees. If you're talking with Drew Brees in a crowd, most people that you talk with, they're talking to you, but their eyes are working the crowd, and so the conversation's going on here, but they're looking around, seeing, if there's somebody important they should be schmoozing with. And when you talk to Drew Brees, he's on your eyes. He's looking directly at you. He's not distracted by anything around. He's really into people. And, he's just, that was the way he was raised, and that's the way he continues to be. And, And Drew, Jimmy John's, I'm glad you guys dropped that seaweed. You know, those Brussels sprouts that or what is that stuff? Sprouts. They were putting Jimmy John's was putting sprouts on their sandwiches, and Drew brought those franchises. I told him, I said, those sprouts have got to go. I said, don't worry, Coach, they're off the menu. So I continue to hit the Italian special number 8s.
They have Jimmy John's in Buffalo?
They put sprouts in the
No,
special.
but they do in Sheridan. It's 32 miles away. Every now and then I tell Arnett I got to go out the back 40 and check out the fence, and I get in a car and drive over to Jimmy John's. You know, have myself a number 8. You know.
Hey, I like that number 8 too.
Yeah.
We need to get them a sponsor. And Drew Brees did spend his fair share of time at Triple X, I can guarantee you. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, hey, we're out of time. You can come back next week if you want. You're going to be here. Have you decided whether you're going to be here for a couple of weeks? I know you had some business.
I'm not going to be here next week because
of the bye. You're going to Illinois State.
Going to Illinois State and
Right,
see
so
Brock Speck's team play. You know, Purdue's off, and so we'll get to see you know, a great friend and a heck of a coach in Brock Speck, Purdue alum. And anyway, he's been wanting me to come and see a game ever since he's been the head coach, which is, I guess, is 4 years. So we're going there.
And then you're going to be back
The
for
following
Nebraska?
week, we may be back for Nebraska. We, you know, I'm going to go up. Arnett and I are going to go up to Toledo to see my brother, and then on to Michigan to see Bill Doba, the former head coach at Washington State. And then we're going to work our way back through here, and we may be here for. You know, I might be here next Friday again, so, you know, I could.
Yeah, if you want, you just let us know.
I know you guys would much rather talk to Willie, but, you know, I can fill a time slot.
I know.
Yes,
I'm
you
happy. I'll take the day off, and you can just be the host. All right. Well, Coach, thanks so much, and I really enjoy this. And a couple pieces of business. One, the Hall of Fame for folks that are interested, the fans that want to go watch the induction ceremony tomorrow night in Mackey Arena. $5 to do that. You can get tickets at 6 o'clock. If you're at the football game, you'll see them also honored at halftime. And then also, Joe will be signing, I don't know what you're going to be signing at Follett's at noon on Sunday. I know you'll be at church before then at Blessed Sacrament, probably for 4 or 5 hours before you get there at noon. But noon at Follett's, Purdue West. Coach Joe Tiller will be meeting and greeting, as they say, and we'll look forward to that as well. But thanks, and have a great couple weeks here. And we will look forward to seeing you down the road, as you always used to say, and still probably do. All right, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Willie Merriweather will join us, Boilermaker legend in his own right, and we'll look forward to speaking with him. Stay tuned on Gold and Black Live.
Purdue students, find your home away from home with Basham Rentals. Trusted for 3 generations to provide quality student housing. We are now leasing for next year, so call us to learn about our apartments and townhomes, all located at the edge of campus. We're eager to share information on our many units, supported by 24-hour maintenance. Basham Rentals. Call us at 743-8367 or look for us online at mybashamrentals.com or boilerapartments.com. Going to the Purdue game? Stay at Hilton Garden Inn, West Lafayette at the Wabash Landing. Your family will love the well-appointed guest rooms, the pool, whirlpool, fitness center, the breakfast buffet, and the amazing Hilton Garden Inn staff. Located just 4 blocks from Purdue University, Hilton Garden Inn has long been the choice for Purdue fans. Call today for a reservation and make Hilton Garden Inn your #1 choice.
More than the players on the field. More than coaches on the sidelines. More than the fans in the stands. More than just scores at the end of the night. It's the action, the stories, the heroes. It's the Friday Night Frenzy. It's the Friday Night Frenzy, and it's only on News 18. High school football from where you live.
Joined here, the legendary Willie Merriweather and Purdue Hall of Fame inductee, class of 2013. Welcome to the show and congratulations. It's got to be. You have to look at things. You've had many honors in your life, in your personal and professional life, but this is a special one. We asked Joe Tiller the same thing. What does it mean to you?
Well, you know, it's an honor that's like no other honor. Getting being inducted into the College Hall of Fame. I was inducted into Indiana Hall of Fame, which was 20 years ago, 1989, I think, 24 years ago. And the only thing I said was, why did you guys wait till I turn 80?
Yeah, yeah,
that's Purdue's Hall of Fame. But no, it's an honor, and I'm very gratified to be inducted into the Purdue Hall of Fame.
You know, you had a very, and I know players from your era always remind you. We've talked to Rick Mountain, Herman Gilliam over the years that if the tournament had just been the way it is now, you'd have played in three NCAA
Absolutely.
tournaments in that standpoint. Who knows where you'd have gone? You played in some very good basketball teams. 1957 to 59 seasons, so to speak, under Coach Ray Eddy. And you've had some great teammates too. Obviously, that had a lot to do with it. From Jake Eisen to Harvey Austin to talk about those guys and Charlie Lyons on down the line. This was a very, very talented group of Purdue basketball players.
Well, those guys that you mentioned, Attucks met Fort Wayne in the semifinals. We beat Gary Roosevelt in the finals, and so we sort of got together like LeBron and Bosh and Wade, to decide to come to Purdue.
Yeah.
So all three of us from that All-Star team came to Purdue, and
of course Jake Eisen played at Gary Roosevelt.
Right. I don't want to say this, but we beat them 97 to 74.
So you did say it.
Yeah, but we remained friends. As a matter of fact, I talked to Eisen last night, and he's going to try to come in tomorrow.
That's part of the fun of these events, though, is the fact that people that you get to see some familiar folks that are celebrating your accomplishments, but you also are quick to realize that those guys had something to do with me being where I am.
I say that, we wound up at second place my junior year, so we were picked to win the Big Ten my senior year. We lost the first game to Kansas State with Bob Boozer, and we won the next 8 ball games 7 ball games, 7, 8 ball games. We won the Hoosier Classic that included Indiana University, Notre Dame, and Butler. And right the last couple of minutes of a game, Harvey slipped on the side of the court and fractured the kneecap. We lost the first 3 out of 4 Big Ten ball games. We were almost put out then, but we came all the way back and was tied. I remember we were tied with Michigan State. Indiana beat us, but you know, a couple of guys got in foul trouble. What I remember more than anything else, Wisconsin hadn't won but a couple of ball games, and we went to Wisconsin, tied with Michigan State. They shot 80% and beat us.
And those are the ones you always remember, aren't
Oh, never will forget that. You know, they knocked us out of it. But like you said, if it was like it was, if it was then like it is today, we would have been in the
You'd have been
tournament.
a free seed in the
Right,
one of, yeah.
and could have very well won a championship.
In the Big Ten in the late 50s, obviously there were some legendary basketball players, and Willie Merriweather being one, but certainly you talk about Johnny Green at Michigan State, and you talk about Walt Bellamy, and then of course all the guys at Ohio State. Ohio State had some good teams even before Havlicek and Lucas, etc. got there. This was a very, very talented group of players in that league.
Yeah, they had Roberts and Noel at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Johnny Green, he could jump so high. I remember him. You know, I remember faking Johnny Green, and when I faked him, I saw his feet. But before I could jump back and take a jump shot, he was right up in my face again. He could hit the ground and go right back up, and I had to lay it off. But I remember beating Michigan State. We had about 8 seconds to go, and I hit a jump shot. We beat them by .81, 80 or something like that. So there are a lot of memories. I remember Ohio State, Chico.
Yeah.
Chico was, you know, he became a baseball player, but he was their center. Pulled his pants high, and I remember coming off with a rebound, and he did something or something. He tried to get the rebound too. Anyway, I elbowed him, and when I elbowed him, he just grabbed me by the arm and sort of lifted me off the floor. He said, "Merriweather, I don't foul you and don't elbow me." I said, "Okay." But he was a strong guy, you know, but nice guy, you know. So I had a lot of fun playing.
All right, now people that might not have seen you play, who do you compare yourself to now in a modern day player besides LeBron James? I know that's a given, but no. In all seriousness, I mean, what you were? I've always heard smooth player. You know, obviously a skill set that you could score the basketball with the best of them. But who do you think you? Who reminds you of you now that you watch play college or professional basketball?
You know, they didn't have 3-pointers at that time, but I shot the ball in that range because you know, I drove to the basket too, but I could shoot a long distance. So I would probably say people like Ellis. You know, some of the ones that's playing today, and I was pretty strong, so I would probably be equal to Carmelo.
Yeah.
You know, because I was very strong, and I could shoot the ball anywhere, and I could rebound, and I was strong on defense, so I was better than him on defense. You know? but
that's damning you with faint praise there.
I didn't mind mixing it up, and I wound up playing all 3 positions at one time. When Lamar Lundy was here, I played center one time, and a few games I played forward, and then I played guard. But you know, I wound up playing guard most of the time. But you know, I've had people to tell me, you know, that I would have been a breeze today playing in the NBA, and I think I would have. You know, you know, we were fundamentally sound. I coached George Gervin, and one of the things that he sort of remembers or says about me is that I taught him fundamentals, and that allowed him to do some of the things that he did, being as thin as he was. And you know, in Indiana, fundamentals. Look at Larry Bird. Look
Yeah.
at all the people from Indiana, the Van Arsdale. They're fundamentally sound. That's one of the things that we sort of have in common.
Well, and Willie played, obviously, for those of you who don't know, and you should, but he played in a time also where they make movies out of Indiana basketball. Obviously, Chris Pasadek's the most legendary teams, and played with a guy named Oscar Robertson. And you think there's a chance that Oscar and George, I'm on a first-name basis with both those
That's
guys.
okay.
No, I am not on a first-name basis, but they are maybe coming tomorrow night, if you're hoping.
They may come.
That'd be quite a thrill.
They have that obligation out there in Phoenix, and they're trying to get out of it to come. So, we just have to wait and see on that.
Did you ever beat Oscar one-on-one?
I don't remember whether
Gotta say you did.
whether I did or didn't, but I know we were very competitive, and our whole team was competitive, and there was a time when we played my senior year that that I led him in scoring up until a certain time, but at the end he wound up beating me out by 2 or 3. 10 or 20 points.
Yeah.
We both broke Hallie Bryant's record
Yeah.
for that single game, but he scored a few more points than I did. But we were close at playing. He was one forward and I was another one, and if he didn't get the rebound, I was going to get it. And I think I averaged like 20, 21 rebounds a game in high school, and shot 705, I think, from the field, and 96% from the free throw line. So
Those are good numbers.
The reason why I had such a high number is because I didn't shoot any further than 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
Oscar shot 10, 20, 30 feet. He shot anywhere on the floor. But I rebounded and put it back and took close-in shots.
You did your job. Now tell the story, because there's been stories about Oscar coming close to coming to Purdue, and that would have been. Did you ever feel like that would have been what that would have been like had the two of you been able to play together in West Lafayette?
Nobody could have touched us.
Yeah.
Oscar, Mr. Campbell, who was my sponsor, Mr. Burrow Campbell, got me to come here, along with being close and being close at home, and my mother was there, a single parent, and I wanted to stay a little closer, but met with Oscar, and Oscar said to me, I like to come to Purdue. He said, the only thing, there was a racial balance as far as blacks being here, but the three of us coming from Indiana and coming to Purdue had one of the players maybe went somewhere. If they'd gone somewhere else, Oscar probably would have come here. Yeah. He was contemplating on coming to Purdue. We used to talk about it all the time, and he said, well, look, if I come, one of the other players, black players, probably won't get to play. So he went to Cincinnati. I think they didn't have any black players at the time.
Now you've had a life in basketball. You played, and you coached, and I assume you still pay attention to. Do you watch more college basketball or NBA, or what's your cup of tea?
I think I watch more NBA, but I enjoy watching college basketball. But I watch more NBA because it's I guess by me playing, I played in a semi-pro league, the Northwest.
Kind of akin to what the NBA was. The NBA is far different then than it is now.
Well, yeah, they you don't touch anybody now. We used to fight and push and do everything, and a lot of players from the league that I played in went on to the NBA when that league went underground. A lot of them went to when the ABA started. Mm-hmm. A lot of them came in. I went out to Cincinnati. Oscar got me a tryout in Cincinnati. They offered me a contract. Dinwiddie and I went down. He was from Muncie. And I made the team, could have stayed. McMahon said they could only give me $8,000. I was making twice that amount teaching school and playing semi-pro ball. So I said, I have a family. And I said, that's going to be hard for me to play for that. So he said, well, that's all we can offer. So Freddie Lewis said, I'll take it for $5.
Yeah.
So Freddie Lewis played. And then I'd gone out too. I came out, went down there, and I made the team down in Kentucky Colonels, the ABA. Same thing, you know. They just weren't paying a lot of money then. You know, Oscar and Bill Russell and Chamberlain, they was making $25,000, $30,000 a year.
And to think that some of those guys now make that in a quarter.
They make it in a game,
Yeah.
yeah, right, in a quarter. You're right.
It's amazing.
But that was the, and the thing about it is I don't have any regrets because of the success I've had in teaching kids and education.
And home for you is in
Converse now. I've moved from
Converse,
Detroit.
Texas.
Right.
Right.
I've moved from, which is a suburb of San Antonio, one small town outside of San Antonio. But I stayed in Detroit from 1962 to 2010.
Yeah.
So Detroit has been my home. I still go back there. I have a place there, but I stay in Texas during the wintertime.
That's not a bad idea from that standpoint. Well, Willie Merriweather, thanks so much for joining us today. Quite a treat. Just a reminder, too, fans out there, you can attend the induction ceremonies in Mackey Arena tomorrow night, and more information on that on our website as well. And it'll be exciting to be inducted in the Purdue Hall of Fame, and I know that it'll be a very special moment for you.
Thank you very much.
And we appreciate it. We appreciate Willie Merriweather, and we appreciate Joe Tiller also joining us today. And of course, I would be remiss in not saying of Stacy Clarity and Kyle Charters and Brian Newbert also. Thanks also to Chris Collar, who filling in, did a great job today. We appreciate that as well. And to Rachel, and I'm going to pronounce your name, Akpot 2. I'm going to get that right before long, but we appreciate that as well. And also, Hilton Garden Inn, our sponsors, State Farm agent Trent Johnson, Basham Reynolds, and Triple X. We'll look forward to seeing you not next week, because it's a bye week. We're all going on vacation. We're not, unfortunately, but we will be back in 2 weeks. October 11th, our special guest, Mitch Daniels, Purdue's president, will be joining us as part of our show 2 weeks heading into the Nebraska game. So we'll look forward to doing that. Have a great couple of weeks. We hope we have a good football game tomorrow, and we'll look forward to talking about that and more on our next edition of Gold and Black Live.